Hello, very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News. This is Monday night's calendar.
Hello, thank you for joining us, and here are tonight's main stories.
It's time to tag the abusers. A stalking survivor calls for GPS tracking on suspects after saying she was failed by police.
One officer even told me I'm not black and blue and I need to stop wasting police time by providing small amounts of evidence.
Banging the drum, flying the flag. We ask the Lib Dem leader how he'll turn Yorkshire seats yellow and whether he sees himself as a true patriot.
I love our flag. I'm truly a patriot. The question I think that some people worry about is if the flag is being taken for political purposes by people like Tommy Robinson and the hard right.
In sport, there's Anton Stack.
And an oasis of calm in the heart of the city. We join volunteers helping to return the Sheffield-Tinsley Canal to its former glory. Good evening. First to the domestic abuse survivor calling for offenders to be tagged with GPS trackers to better protect their intended victims.
The woman, who's from South Yorkshire, spoke out after telling Calendar how police had repeatedly failed her, failures which saw her abusive ex-partner go unpunished.
She says officers had lost vital evidence and didn't take her complaints seriously, only adding to the misery she'd endured for years. Amelia Beckett has her story.
There was a lot of coercive control, a lot of tracking my movements and monitoring me and reducing my time with my family, friends, and also withdrawing completely my ability to access money independently.
For years, Jane, which is not her real name, was abused by her ex-partner. She finally found the courage to leave after one abusive episode and called the police. But rather than arrest him, she says instead she became the suspect.
What has unfolded was 2 years of me trying to provide evidence and the police refusing to take it, saying it wasn't worthy of recording or them losing my evidence. One officer even told me I'm not black and blue and I need to stop wasting police time by providing small amounts of evidence. The problem with coercive control is it can take time to provide your evidence. I was just completely dismissed.
Was that something you ever expected?
No. When you see the posters around saying ask for help, there's lots of help available for domestic abuse. I was really hopeful. I remember dialing 999 that night and I felt this enormous relief because I thought, I'm going to get the help now that I need and I've done the hard part. But if I'd have known, I'd have never involved South Yorkshire Police. They've caused massive damage to me emotionally and to my family. The trauma they've caused has just been horrific.
This is basically like PTSD.
She's since been supported by Deborah Jones at Barnsley charity Resolute, backing her campaign for a new GPS tagging system to be implemented to better protect victims. A campaign Deborah's now taken to Parliament, asking the Prisons Minister to back the proposal.
The way that it should work is where a perpetrator is tagged, a high-risk perpetrator, and a victim is given an app on their mobile phone. If the perpetrator breaches the proximity of where he is allowed to go, then it would alert the victim, it would alert the police. So the importance of this is just overwhelming.
Jane thinks it could have made a huge difference in her case.
How might it have helped you?
When I've been stalked, the onus has been put on me to prove it. But this would give solid evidence. It would also make me feel more secure. It's a no-brainer.
The government told us it's already announced new restriction zones for the most serious sexual and violence offenders, but said it was always looking at how it can use new innovations to better protect and support victims. Victims like Jane, whose outcome could have been so different.
Yeah, some shocking claims from Jane in Amelia's report. Amelia's with us in the studio. And what have South Yorkshire Police had to say in response to this, Amelia?
Well, they said that this was a very lengthy investigation spanning more than 12 months in which they worked closely with Jane. They also said they worked closely with the Crown Prosecution Service to ensure that a thorough file was presented, which they say the CPS commended for being so meticulous. However, despite that, the CPS concluded that there was insufficient evidence for there to be a realistic prospect of conviction, and so no charges were authorised. In response to those claims that we heard from Jane about an officer saying because she wasn't black and blue, she needed to stop wasting police time, South Yorkshire Police didn't respond specifically to that. Instead, they said that every report of domestic abuse is treated with the utmost seriousness and that every officer in South Yorkshire had undergone additional training. Now, I understand that Jane is now working with Resolute and the Centre for Women's Justice to try and progress her claim further. She said that, as you heard there, she's very much backing this GPS system as a way to remove the onus off of victims and onto perpetrators.
Yes, well, we're grateful to Jane for talking to us. Thanks very much, Amelia, for bringing us up to date.
A British Army chef from Chesterfield has appeared in court charged with possessing a firearm and an explosive substance. Mark Broadhurst from Scott Close in Grassmore appeared via video link at Westminster Magistrates Court earlier today. He's accused of possessing a homemade cannon, a muzzle-loading firearm and of possessing various substances. The 27-year-old was bailed and will appear at the Old Bailey on the 3rd of October.
Now, it's a little-known condition which, on average, takes 7 years to be diagnosed, yet it can have life-changing consequences for those that are.
There's been a big rise in cases of postural tachycardia syndrome, or POTS for short, since the COVID pandemic. Yet there are still only a handful of doctors who are specialising in it.
Well, Hannah Ludlow's spoken to one West Yorkshire woman calling for greater awareness and, hopefully, a cure.
Student nurse Kerry Manzi from Leeds has struggled with even the simplest of tasks since she began developing symptoms of POTS. Daily activities like showering come with the risk of fainting. Kerry says it's an isolating condition.
There have been times where I've fainted or been unconscious, and obviously then it's really apparent that I'm struggling, but the rest of the time it's like, oh, she's fine, she's not, she's standing, she's walking, she's talking, but I could be in so much pain, or I could literally hear my heart rate in my ears, and no one would have a clue.
When a healthy person stands up, to avoid blood dropping down into the limbs and abdomen, blood vessels contract and the heart rate increases slightly to maintain blood supply to the heart and brain. With POTS, this adjustment to standing doesn't work correctly, resulting in an excessive rise in heart rate and altered blood flow to the brain.
Okay, what are the symptoms?
Just the pins and needles in the bottom half of my body, and the heart palpitations as well, and I feel a little bit lightheaded.
Alexandra is being tested for POTS using the lean test at Chapel Allerton Hospital in Leeds. Her heart rate and symptoms are measured every minute for 10 minutes. The results are then studied by a consultant.
The whole field of autonomic dysfunction is not taught well in medical school. To be very honest, prior to COVID, I had no idea about the condition myself. The virus it initiates an inflammatory response in the body, and then it produces what is called as autoantibodies. What needs to be done is to understand more in terms of how the autonomic nervous system gets damaged and whether we can do something about it.
A recent survey of POTS patients found 85% had difficulty accessing healthcare.
Patients are getting referred by their GP to secondary care service, and then when they get their letter back, it's saying, no, I'm sorry, you can't have an appointment, we don't see patients with POTS, or no, you're out of area, so we're not going to see you. And it seems absolutely barbaric to us.
The government told ITV News it's working to revolutionise care for people with POTS by shifting care from hospitals to communities. Next month, the issues surrounding POTS will be debated in Parliament. It's hoped this recognition will be the first step towards real change. Hannah Ludlow, ITV News.
OK, well, on to stunts and political hijinks now, which were the themes of the Liberal Democrats' general election campaign, and it seemed to have yielded some impressive results.
Yes, but with reform on the rise, the party faces a new challenge as it tries to match its gains in the south in the north.
Our political correspondent Fred Dimbleby is at the party's conference. Good evening, Fred. What's the mood like there then?
Well, good evening. Here in sunny Bournemouth, I think this is a party that is pretty pleased with itself. And as you say, it has a right to be after winning 70-odd MPs. Only one of them, may I say, though, in Yorkshire. But one figure has still hung over this conference, and that is Nigel Farage. So focused on the Reform UK leader are the party that they've given journalists this little make-your-own Farage, which comes with accessories like a pint of beer and a Make America Great Again hat. They are calling him and attacking him as a plastic patriot, something, of course, that he would deny. But I think there is a realisation that he has had a huge impact already on our politics and that beating him is a tough prospect. The message from one of Sir Ed Davies' latest stunts was not exactly subtle. The Lib Dems are on the march and still banging the drum after winning a record number of MPs last year.
Hello, hi, nice to see you.
Nice to see you. But when I sat down with the party leader, I wanted to talk about an election loss, when their candidate for the Hull and East Yorkshire mayoralty received a knockout blow from Reform's former boxer, Luke Campbell. What do you think went wrong in that campaign?
Well, we had a great campaign and we didn't do badly. We almost won. There will be a battle in Hull next May. Labour look like they're going to lose a lot of seats to Reform, but also to us too. So I'm increasingly confident that Liberal Democrats can take on Reform and win.
But when it mattered in that election, it was a Liberal Democrat versus a Reform candidate, and the Liberal Democrat lost. Is that a problem with the candidate, or is that a problem with your party?
Well, different elections, you see different results. If you take all the council by-elections since May, where there's been a head-to-head between us and Reform, we won 3/4 of them. Essentially, what's happening in British politics is people have given up on Labour and the Conservatives, no longer trust them, and they're looking for a party of change. Nigel Farage is representing some of that, but it's very divisive. It's very much out of the Trump playbook, a bit like Trump America. Liberal Democrats want change, but we're truer to British values.
Let's reclaim our flags.
And those British values include patriotism, something the Lib Dems say they want to reclaim from the right. Again, no subtlety with the messaging here. But national flags have been appearing on streets across the region, dividing opinion. For some, it's a sign of pride. For others, prejudice. Do you think that that is a patriotic act?
I have no problem with it. I love our flag. I'm truly a patriot, and so is the Liberal Democrats. The question I think that some people worry about is if the flag is being taken for political purposes by people like Tommy Robinson and the hard right.
Would you take those flags down, though? Would you want them taken down in places like York?
It's not for me to say that, is it? It's up to the local community and local people.
But you can have a view as a party leader. What would your view be?
Well, my view is if the local community want the flags, they should have the flags. I'm not trying to suggest they should be taken down. Some people, though, are saying that they're a little bit intimidated by some of the flags.
The Lib Dems are already in full bloom in the south, but growing their presence in the north is proving a far greater task. Fred Dimbleby, ITV News, Bournemouth.
Well, this is Monday night's calendar. Thanks for being with us. Still to come on the programme. In sport, it was a hero's welcome back for Chris Wilder as he returned to the dugout at Bramall Lane. Sadly, Charlton spoiled his party with a last-gasp winner.
And in the weather, after a lively weekend, a glorious day today and the start of astronomical autumn. The weather certainly feels like it. All the details coming up shortly.
See you shortly, Ebba. Thank you. Now, the work being done in our region to support people from diverse communities was celebrated at a major awards ceremony over the weekend. Nominees travelled to the National Diversity Awards, which recognise the contributions made by a range of individuals and organisations.
Also at the ceremony were some well-known faces who were there to congratulate those being honoured. And Amrit Birdie was there for us.
A night of celebrating what makes us different. Now, in its 14th year, the National Diversity Awards attract plenty of famous faces.
I love the National Diversity Awards, and I think it's my third year in a row of hosting it. And I really appreciate how it focuses on individuals and indeed on corporations, companies who are still believing that difference is a strong thing, the thing that makes us better as a society.
But it's those who were nominated for hard work within their communities that were the real stars of the night. There was a remarkable 85,000 nominations and votes as part of this year's awards. And those who made the shortlist are sat behind me. And it's people like this that the founder of the awards say are the unsung heroes of our society, flying the flag for diversity in all of its forms. Nominees included Anisha Taylor from Leeds for her work as a diversity champion in some of the country's most prominent organisations.
It's not often that you stop and think about what you do, because I do what I do because I think I love it, I enjoy it, it's my passion, and I know it makes a difference to kind of, sounds a bit cliche, but to society, you know.
And the evening's most prestigious Lifetime Achiever Award went to Mick Lagbir Singh, one of the UK's first Indian police officers, who was nominated for the regular acts of kindness he carries out.
I think I'm just being a normal guy, but people seem to think that I'm out the ordinary because of all the things that I do in the community. I'm gobsmacked. I can't believe it. It's a wonderful night. They're brilliant to be here.
Those behind the event say, despite the glitz and the glamour, its core message is about embracing our differences.
We're not all the same, and that's what makes the UK really great. You know, whether you're disabled, whether you're from an LGBTQ+ background, whether you're from a different race, different culture, whatever that may be, we all bring something to the table for the UK.
And it's that message of acceptance that those in attendance will take with them as they return to their communities. Amrit Birdie, ITV News.
OK, well, it's time for some sport now, and Chris is with us in the studio. If I can find the right camera. Hello. It wasn't a happy homecoming for Chris Wilder, was it, on Saturday?
Was it, Lara? No, same old, sadly, for Sheffield United. The Blades beaten once again, but better result across the city and for our region's only Premier League team.
Powering local sport in the community. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Yes, it's now 6 games, 6 defeats in the Championship for Sheffield United. Even the return of that man, Chris Wilder, couldn't muster a change in fortune. He was given a hero's welcome back at Bramall Lane before kick-off, but I think even the fans realise their Messiah can't work miracles. The Blades haven't scored a league goal since the opening day of the season. That's 9.5 hours of football, and their latest kick in the teeth came a minute into stoppage time with Charlton scoring the winner.
We are in the position that we're in. There's a lot of hard work that needs to be done. At times I saw some bits and pieces that I liked and enjoyed, and there's other stuff that it certainly needs a lot of work doing to it. But, you know, the goal from our point of view in the 90-odd minutes, a real poor goal. You know, we get done on one ball, and then it's 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2, and they have opportunities to find that winner, and they found it, and they're the ones that go away with the 3 points.
Well, I'm not sure many would have predicted Wednesday being Sheffield's top team 6 games into the season, but that's what they are, 2 ends of the experience scale, and then their first win of the season at Portsmouth. 35-year-old Barry Bannon playing his 622nd game, scoring a sublime free kick, and then on his first league start, 19-year-old George Brown curled in the clincher. And it was a day for first. This season just gets better and better. They sit top of League One after winning 3-1 at early pace-setters Cardiff. Tommy Lee with the pick of the goals. And as we know, the weather was horrendous on Saturday, wasn't it? The camera at Harrogate caught the brunt of it, but did capture Town winning 2-0 against Shrewsbury.
Yeah, despite the weather. Well, that's the football. So what else have you got for us tonight, Chris?
Well, the Super League Dream Team has been announced here, and that's the best players from across the country. And there were 3 players from our region in the squad. The Leeds Rhinos, who finished 4th in Super League, had 2 debutants in the squad, in scrum half Jake Connor and second row James McDonnell. Prop Mike McGeekin was Wakefield Trinity's sole representative in the 13-man squad.
I've come a long way. If you'd have asked me 12 months ago would I be in this position, I'd have said no. So a lot of things have had to go my way as well, but you know, I've played in a great team this year, and you know, with our defence, they put me in positions that I need to be in and positions that I thrive in. So you know, they've helped me out massively.
And in other sports news over the weekend, the Sheffield Steelers won both their matches in Ice Hockey's Challenge Cup, the second this overtime victory over the Manchester Storm. And Keighley's Ellie Kildum played a starring role, scoring 2 tries as England made it through to the Women's Rugby Union World Cup final, beating France on Saturday. What a superstar she is, eh? Fingers crossed they can complete the job, can't they? On Saturday.
Let's hope so. We'll be watching.
We'll be keeping our fingers crossed.
That's your lot.
For sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Now to a story of people power, which has helped revitalise a once neglected and often forgotten stretch of waterway running through Sheffield's industrial heartland.
Volunteers working with the Canal and River Trust charity have played an integral part in the transformation of the Sheffield and Tinsley Canal. And they've even gone as far as to buy their own boat to keep their vital work afloat. Lisa Adlam has been finding out what it's all about. She's been on the water with them.
An oasis of calm, not in rural Yorkshire, but winding its way through one of its biggest and busiest urban areas. To travel along the Sheffield and Tinsley Canal is to take a 4-mile journey through nature and into the man-made heart of the city, with nods to Sheffield's industrial past along the way.
Both sides of there need cleaning up, I think.
And it's volunteers like these who've breathed new life into what was a neglected and unloved waterway, a forgotten gem in the Sheffield cityscape. Working with the Canal and River Trust charity, they've helped transform it over the past 8 years. But a little like the water that flows along this historic canal, their work keeps going.
The bench needs painting, we've got graffiti on that. Today is really identifying what needs doing, sort of general maintenance, making the place a lot better, easier for the boaters, pedestrians and everything like that, and just identifying the works and divvying it out to all groups.
One of those groups is the Sheffield Hawk boat, run by volunteers, who, when the Canal and River Trust couldn't afford to replace a former vessel to carry out vital work, stepped in to find their own. Launched earlier this summer thanks to the generosity of a donor, they're on the water several times a week.
What do you get from it, as well as, you know, you're giving something back? Obviously.
It's the satisfaction of, I mean, everybody sensible hates litter, and the satisfaction of knowing that at 11 o'clock every morning the towpath's clean. Obviously the next morning I get another sack full of litter, but if I didn't do it every day, I just think how bad it would be.
They're all local people, they've grew up around this area, they realise the importance of the canal through Sheffield and Tinsley, so it's great that they've really come together to get the same cause really, and they've carrying out repairs off their own back to help us.
For those who give their time week in and week out, it's a transformation they're determined will continue to benefit this city and its people for many years to come. Lisa Adlam, ITV News.
And we're very grateful to the work that they do. Now then, before we go, there is just time to say a very big happy birthday to ITV, 70 today and looking really well on it. Yes, celebrations have been ongoing all year, and of course we've been taking a look back over the years.
Yes, here's one golden oldie for you. This is from 1968, of course, when the Duchess of Kent, no less, came to Leeds to open these very studios here on Kirkstall Road, the first belonging entirely to Yorkshire.
It gives me great pleasure to initiate this first broadcast from Yorkshire Television's new studios in Leeds.
Yes, a big moment in our history there, and there's a treasure trove of content from the archives, all available free to stream on ITVX, including rarely seen remastered classic material, including my tour of the archive and a look back at the series Jimmy. Some real nostalgia. And Laura, I'm dressed as the Yorkshire TV ident, can you tell? I've even got my cufflinks on. I'll show you at the end of the programme, maybe. There you go,
look at that. Yeah, lucky you. OK, let's go to Emma for the weather.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you, and I hope you had a good weekend. It certainly was a weekend of two halves, some torrential downpours on Saturday, as we can see here. Thank you, Gary, for sharing that photo. It was the wettest day of the year so far. For some sites, indeed, records were broken. This is a selection of the sites who broke records. No more rainfall expected this week, but of course it is the first day of astronomical autumn today. Not quite equal hours of daylight and darkness. That is on Thursday when we have the equinox. So taking a look at the forecast over the next few hours, high pressure's in charge, and so it remains clear and dry with light winds, maybe one or two mist and fog patches forming here and there. I think we'll probably escape a frost, but it could get quite chilly out in the countryside, maybe down to 3 or 4 Celsius. Here are your sunrise and sunset times into tomorrow. The sun's up on Tuesday about 5 to 7 in the morning and sets about 5 past 7 in the evening. And with high pressure continuing to be in charge, it's going to be another fine day. A little bit of cloud floating around, more northerly winds here blowing in an odd shower off the North Sea. Temperatures slightly better than today's values, but still with those light winds, they're not really going to matter either way, neither here nor there. But 16 is fine, slightly below average for the time of year. 16 is 61 in Fahrenheit. And then you can see the high pressure starts to transfer a little bit further eastwards, so a slight change in wind direction, but that's not really going to impact our temperatures as we head through the outlook period. It looks like it's going to be mostly fine, dry and settled until the weekend, when potentially there'll be a breakdown from the west. Temperatures start to rise as well, and I don't think there's any danger of a frost by night. That's it. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
And of course, calendar always used to end with the YTV logo, the chevron, so we'll leave you with it again tonight. Good night.
Bye-bye.